Good morning. I have Eleanor with me. Hi, Elle. So we just finished our morning walkies. So we're waiting for our REATs. But I'm not leaving for work quite yet. I have a few minutes left. Welcome, guys. This week I decided it's past November, so it's not nonfiction November anymore. And I didn't read any nonfiction books, but I'm kind of in the mood for nonfiction. It was Saturday night, so November 30th at like 11:39 p.m. And I was like, yo, I could go for some nonfictions. Um, it's several days later at this point. It is Friday, the 6th. So, I did sit down and start reading nonfiction. So the very first one I picked up here was The World's Worst Serial Killers, Shocking Crimes and Unspeakable Murders by Al Cimino. I got this at Books A Million on the bargain shelf. So I had bought, they were like $5. So I thought they were like old, like not older releases, but like maybe a year or so ago. And they just had extra copies that they didn't sell. You know how sometimes they do like this book was popular, it came out, blah, 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 now it's not. I had it while I was logging it last night on my Storygraph that this book was published in September. And I got it in like the end of September. So it was already on the bargain shelf. And I don't know why, because 4.5 stars. I did finish this one. It's a nonfiction. It's a little bit of a chunker. It's 464 pages. But honestly, I flew through it pretty quickly. I read like the first 100 pages in one single sitting. And it was good. And I mean, like, I was just reading like chunks. And last night, I read this much of it last night alone. So, like, it's definitely moving. It moves very fast. And I like that because, I mean, it mentions the world. And I was really kind of expecting, even when it said world, to be like US and some UK ones. They really do go all over the world. Like there was a few from like South America, there was a few from Asia. Not like a ton in there, but there was some. And I like, even though it says world, I wasn't really expecting that. It's also very informative. There are pictures of the people where they can put them. Some of them they can't put in because some of these murders in here go back to like the 1800s, so there's not necessarily pictures from that. I mean, there's like sketches and whatnot that sometimes I put in, but it really does cover a wide range and it really concises the information down. And I was expecting me to have heard several of these. I have heard of a few, and some of them I had heard of their cases but couldn't remember the name of the person. But there was a lot of people in this one I didn't know about, even like relatively around like the Midwest where I live. I didn't hear about some of these people. I mean, granted, it was also several years ago. Not like any of them were recent. I think like the most recent case in the book is like early 2000s. I think even up to like 2014 may have been like one or two cases like that. And it really covers quite a lot of people in this one. Like I said, 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It did read very quickly. I brought this to work with me this week, and logically everyone's starting me like I was psycho, but like at this point, I think everyone just knows I'm really into true crime. So that's pretty much what I do on my lunch break. I either am watching true crime or I was reading this book here. But it does cover some of the more well-known ones. There's over 60 serial killers in this book, and some of them they include were John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, Tamara Cimino, the Granny Ripper, and Daniel Carmongo Barbosa. It really covered a lot, and some of them have like huge victim counts, and it wasn't like I'm like it still surprises me that like it really just surprised me in this book that there were so many serial killers who had so many victims and like they weren't caught for so long. Like some of them had like 80 to 100 150 victims and like they were never caught. It baffles me yet that like we did not catch them even in like the time where they didn't have all the technology we have today. It still baffles the shit out of me. That being said, I'm starting my next nonfiction book. I already have my bookmark on the front of the cover, but I can get it. There you go. This one is called Serial Killers and Psychopaths: True Life Cases That Shock the World by Charlotte Greig and John Marlowe. It's by the same publisher. This was also on the same shelf. I haven't looked if this one was published this year yet. I mean, I got these for $5, guys. And this one covers some different ones that serial killers that are clearly. I feel like all serial killers are kind of psychopathic, but this one provides a concise yet detailed look at some of the most dangerous individuals who have ever lived. And then it says, presents a carefully shows a cross-section of history's most infamous criminals whose fascinating life stories are viewed with an unflinching gaze, making for a chilling but engrossing read. So I'm going to bring this one with me to work today. It's about the same length as the other one. This one's like a few pages shorter, like less than 10 pages shorter. But yeah, I'm going to bring this one with me to work today. This one looks like it goes into maybe a little bit more of an overview than this one, but that's completely okay. I'm really just excited to get into this one. Hello. It is quite a few days later. I have picked up Serial Killers and Psychopaths True Life Cases That Shocked the World by Charlotte Greig and John Marlowe. This one is a little bit different than the other one in some senses, but pretty similar reads. They are by the same publisher. I did enjoy both of these so far. I did finish this book already. This one took me a little bit longer to read. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety last week, and I just couldn't read. I was just too anxious, and I really don't know what I was anxious about. I get in these moods sometimes where like my anxiety just spikes, and I don't really know what's wrong. It's just But I did finish this the other night. I'm giving this one 4.5 stars, which is the same rating I gave the other one. But this one I did enjoy a little bit more in some senses. This one goes more in like chronological time order, where we started back in like the 1600s and went forward from there for the most part. And so we got like halfway through, and then it started mixing up the timeline. We kept jumping back and forth. Not like huge drastic ones like we were in the other one. Like the other one we would be like in 1920, and then we were in like 1840, and then we were in 2012, and then in 1970. This one jumps back and forth between like I guess I don't know how I really want to say this, because I really don't feel like it was that long ago. Realistically, though, when you think about it, it's been like 50 years. When I say like 1970, which is crazy to think about, kind of, because I really don't feel like it's that far away, historical-wise, feel me? But, like, when you hear that it's 50 years, it sounds like, oh my god, that was, like, so long ago. And I'm saying this as someone who was born in 1998, so, like, let me tell you that that's kind of weird. Anyways, enough of that. Let's not go into that tangent, okay? This one, it's pretty much stays in chronological order until it gets about halfway through, and then it starts to go into different, like, subsets of serial killers, and then it goes in chronological order within that subset, but then every time it goes to, like, a new chapter with a new, like, subset of serial killer, it like restarts the timeline. So it does kind of jump back and forth because they're going about like different kinds of serial killers. Like motives is kind of what they like separated it by. I mean, not as much as the other book, but this one started to do it a little bit, and it's not like I couldn't follow. Like I completely could follow what we were happening, what was doing it. It was just a little bit different. This one also has a few more pictures in it, of like the actual like serial killers. I mean, obviously they don't have anything from like the 1600s, blah blah blah, but they do have a lot more of recent photos in this one, which I really didn't mind, because they had one like every other page almost, which I really, like I said, I really didn't mind. Pretty good overall. I did enjoy my reads of these nonfiction, even if it did take me a little bit longer than I anticipated, because I like totally anticipated reading these nonfiction in November, and like I said in the beginning, like my nonfiction bug didn't hit until November 30th at 11 p.m. So didn't get to it, but we did get to our nonfiction books this year I wanted to get to. These are the only nonfiction books I own that I have not read yet. So I'm really glad that I'm able to get these off my shelf. Also because I actually got these this year, and it's pretty impressive that I read a book that I bought this year, honestly, because that does not happen very often. But I will see you guys next time.